Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Meet the Blacks. You can tell you're in for a good time when the movie's title actually makes you feel uncomfortable saying it out loud. Not a clue what this is about. The poster, at least from what I can see, looks like some sort of road trip type movie, like, I don't know, some sort of wacky family moves into a new neighborhood, and they're black people, so they don't get along. Hijinks ensue. I don't know. I'm thinking this is just going to be incredibly stupid. And so, I like, just the title and the look of it, it's making me think like Wayne-style humor, which, I don't know. If they're able to do good Wayne-style, that'd be cool. I mean, hell, Wayans didn't do a very good Wayne-style movie last time when I saw like 50 Shades of Black. Well, this is Meet the Blacks. Excuse me. So, yeah, not a clue what it's gonna be about, but yeah, just the poster though, it reminds me of that Ice Cube movie, Are We There Yet? I think that was it. Maybe something like that. Yeah. Let's see it. This movie is worse than Scary Movie 5. I mean that. It is much worse than Scary Movie 5. When I saw Batman v Superman, it was bad. It was very bad. When I saw The Revenant, it was very, very bad, but you know, this, well, I think I know it's going to be at the bottom of my list when I update it. I'd like to point out, I didn't look closely enough at the poster for this, and I never looked up anything else beyond the title, just Meet the Blacks. Like, when I just looked at the poster, maybe I'll put it up here or something, I saw, like, a few people in a car, and they're making, like, goofy faces, so that's what gave me the idea that it was some sort of road trip, Are We There Yet type thing. If you look closely, there's like a guy in the background with a gun, and like I think somebody reflected in the car or something on the side of the car. Because this is a Purge parody. This is a parody of The Purge. What about the title Meet the Blacks indicates that this has anything remotely to do with The Purge? The only thing I can figure is that somebody in the marketing department was trying to help me, was trying to warn the world away by giving it such a terrible title that I honestly really felt dirty saying when I was ordering my ticket, such as Meet the Blacks, so that maybe he can save someone from ever seeing this. And I will let you know, when I went in there, the movie had like maybe 20 people. Half of them were gone by the end of the first third of the movie. This movie was hemorrhaging viewers. And I understand why. Like Scary Movie 5, I totally would have left. I would have done the same as them. I would have booked it if it hadn't been for the fact that I need to review it. Man. Okay, I've got to get it into a structure. I've got to tell you how. It's my job. It's what I do. I have to tell you. Okay, so you know in Good Burger, the Good Burger movie, how there's that scene with Sinbad and the main character, not the guy who says the Good Burger line, the other main character, the fatter guy. How there's that one scene between them where, that guy, I think he did some, accidentally had a car accident with Sinbad, and basically they just have this one rambling conversation that's kind of meant to be a joke and feels very improv-y and goes on for way too long, like 2 minutes too long, and it's very uncomfortable to watch after a while. Imagine that scene, except it's an entire movie. An entire movie. And there are some films that do something like that, like where they have a scene that with a joke that just goes on for a really long time. I mean, if you watch Red Letter Media's recent film Space Cop, they have a couple scenes where it feels very improv-y and they're going on for a little bit, and maybe it goes on for a bit too long, but it only happens once or twice, so, you know, it feels pretty funny in the moment, and those are overall good movies. And the latest Pee Wee Herman thing, Pee Wee's Big Holiday, there was a few scenes in there that went on for far, far longer than they probably should have. Like, Pee Wee had this balloon and he was deflating it in a comedic manner, and it went on for like 5 minutes. Yeah. This is that the movie. Every single scene consists of characters rambling at each other continuously, without break, seemingly without breathing, and just nonsensical. Maybe a joke pops up somewhere, but it's hard to detect sometimes because they just don't shut up. They keep going and going and going. Every scene is like that. Every single scene. Okay, so that's the main problem. Now, there are other things. For instance, as a parody of The Purge, they have several parody characters from The Purge. For instance, if you remember the kid in there, how he had that weird, like, doll head thing on some sort of remote-controlled remote-controlled RC vehicle or something. Like, this kid has a drone. And it never comes into play during the movie at all. It's just he has a drone and he flies it around in one scene. No jokes are made. I think there was one where, like, he's flying it around and somebody gets freaked out for some reason, and they talk about it for an incredibly long period of time. I think. That's it. I don't know what the point of it was. The whole reason this happens, like, they're from Chicago, and, like, where the purge happens every year, and they, but from what I gather, this, by the way, the story was told so poorly, with characters set up so badly, that I honestly wondered if it was actually a sequel to something. It's not. From what I understand, our main character was working with this guy, and they were doing, like, heists or something, and the guy went to jail. So he took all the money that had been gained by this guy and fled to Beverly Hills, because the purge supposedly doesn't happen there. At least that's what he thinks. But, so yeah, that's basic. That's the gist of it. And then like purge stuff happens. But the most annoying part of this is throughout the whole movie, our main character keeps on insisting that he doesn't know what the purge is. I'm not joking, the purge might have been explained to him about 50 frickin' times, and they aren't making a joke of it. They aren't. You know, you can imagine, like, he'd be like, oh, what's this purge again? You know, it's not something like that. It's more like, oh, why are people killing each other? Oh no, I just killed somebody. I'm going to jail. Like, what is going on? Like he keeps claiming, oh, the purge doesn't happen here. But while we're constantly, from the moment those sirens go, hearing sounds of death and destruction outside. From the very beginning it happens, we hear like explosions and stuff, and the whole family reacts to it. It's like the person who wrote this, if somebody did in fact write this, like, accidentally mixed up several scenes. Because it's like he's never ever experienced a purge, yet it's been said he's experienced many. And I would be fine with this if they were making a joke that he's just an idiot, but they clearly aren't. Several different people show up. This is kind of like a video game style, I guess. Because during the purge, like a whole bunch of different people individually break into the house. Their identity is revealed to us, and we're eventually told who they are, and then they're murdered. And then it moves on to the next person who's broken into the house and eventually gets their identity revealed and is murdered. But bear in mind, most of the people who break into the house and get their identity revealed, we have never seen before. But they are people from his past. There was one scene where this huge fat guy comes down the chimney, and of course, rambling and not stopping to take a breath, just talking and talking and talking and talking and splurting out most likely improvised dialogue the entire time. And he's just shouting stuff, and like midway through the scene he says something about being his parole officer, and then he dies. He dies by shooting a box with his laser gun, and it ricochets back into his head, and then the main character, like, he looks inside the box, right? Perfect joke setup. What's in there? What possibly reflected it? A mirror? A big metal plate? Something funny? It's a statue. Like an ordinary statue, like just another statue. And he just pulls it out, he's like, ah! Like it's a joke. You know, I'm rambling now. I'm rambling. I don't... Like, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, and good. You really shouldn't. They don't make any jokes in this movie. They just one-liners, but mostly like 58-liners. Just long, rambling scenes of constant dialogue that probably wasn't even written down, just whatever the actor happened to have on his or her mind at the time. That's what it feels like. An entire movie of that. I mean, a haunted house, like, it kind of feels like something that Marlon Wayans just happened to make in his backyard for fun over like a couple weeks. But like this movie, it feels like they put even less thought into it than that. Far less. Like, maybe the whole thing where he doesn't seem to understand that purge means you can kill people and get away with it. Like, several times, as I said, after he murders someone, he's like, oh no, I'm going to jail. And he keeps saying this stuff, even though it's purge time, so he should know this. This should be a basic thing. Once again, for like the third fucking time, I wouldn't mind if that was meant to be a joke, but it clearly isn't. He just doesn't know. So yeah. This movie isn't funny. Put it that way. It's not anything. It's not... It's not a good parody. I mean, The Purge is an easy thing to parody. It makes no fucking sense. I mean, if the whole, Purge premise was right, most of the chaos that happens, wouldn't be seen like that. In fact, most if not all of the crimes that would happen would be, corporate espionage and stuff. And then there's, legitimacy things, all the property damage that would happen. Millions of dollars would be lost every Purge day. There are jokes to be made. It is an incredibly stupid premise. It was made by Blumhouse. Anybody can parody it. But this is so incompetent. So terrible. I can't even comprehend this. It's how bad it is. I can't believe it. And with all these characters that come in without any setup. There was one guy who had a setup in there, but even then it was poorly explained. And it was this guy who was trying to serve him a notice for something. We don't really know what, and I'm not sure why he has a personal agenda against him. He just does. There was this lady at the very beginning who was giving his wife a manicure, and he doesn't pay her in cash, and she's mad about it, and she even threatens to do purging against him, and she's never seen again. I mean, wouldn't that have been a way funnier joke if she showed up and started kicking their asses or something? But no, instead, never heard of again. We just get a whole bunch of people we've never seen before spend 10 minutes explaining who they are, and then they die. Because funny. Over and over and over again is his stalker, his parole officer, his the guy he took the money from, this other guy who also wanted the money he took the money from, the white neighbors who were racists. But I guess the joke is that they're not too racist because they actually apologize for calling them the N-word, like he actually says the N-word and then he immediately apologizes for it and says it's kind of low. That was a little funny, I guess. But of course it's minimized because they just keep talking and talking and talking and never ever shutting up. I don't think I've experienced a movie like this before. I mean, I really don't know if it's at worse than Magic Mike XXL, but just using it as a comparison, they shut the fuck up in Magic Mike XXL. Granted, it's for extended 30-minute sequences of nothing but pelvic thrusting, but they do shut up, so does that make it better? I think Magic Mike had a plot. It was a road trip plot, but it had characters that all molded together, but it had characters. This movie had characters, and it's movies like this that make me want to take a break. To just maybe hold off on this 2 movies a week thing. Just take an entire month off and never think about this again. Not do any reviews, just take a deep breath and let it go and never and not see a movie for a while. But you know what? For every movie as terrible as this, I can think of 3 or 4 easily that were great, and I never expected them to be. Next week, I'm going to be seeing The Boss and Hardcore Henry. If I miss them, what would I be missing out on? I could be missing out on a great experience. Something to tell the whole world about. Or something terrible. I don't know. I guess that's why I do this. I gotta know. And you guys gotta know. That's why you're watching. That and possibly because got absolutely nothing better to do. But I think we should just consider this a blessing. That movies like this really are rare. And the last one was in 2013. As far as I'm concerned, that was Scary Movie 5. And Scary Movie 5 had a much bigger release. I had to travel away from my usual theater in order to watch this. So, there is hope. There's hope in the world. Well, I don't think there's anything more to say on this film. Just... Can't believe how long I've been putting these on. Well, not these specifically. These are the original glasses. Got these at a Walmart several years ago. A little bent though. So I've replaced them with these. Got a little flag on them. Started that tradition, just to give me something unique. You know? I think it's the very first time I imagined Dyer-Situation is it's gonna be I would imagine that, like, at the end of every review I'd put on these glasses and I'd say the catchphrase and then like that theme song from CSI Miami would play up, you know. It's meant to be a thing on that, like, looks like you've been served. Yeah! That's what it was meant to be. Now you know. But no, I just use it as, I guess, bookends, really. Show you when the review's starting and when it's ending. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of funny though. I mean, like, this is the show that has the catchphrase. Chadwick Jones does not. This is the one that got the attention there. I like this came up. Yeah, yes, I said this came up like when I first thought of Dyer-Situation. I remember Alex. I wasn't too fond of it when I first said it. I was like when I posted Dark Shadows, it was just called Dark Shadows Review or something, and then when I was at my grandma's house and I started releasing a few more, I'd call them just Brave Review or something like that, and yeah, I was thinking I need to come up with a show name for it, you know. Because usually these vlog things or these review shows, they always have a title. I mean, Chadwick Jones Presents. I don't just call it like a thingy review. Well, maybe it should be. Might get me a few more views than from people who might wonder, like, who the hell's Chadwick Jones? But beyond the point, I wanted a title. So I was just rambling it over, and I just said to Alex, I came up with a great idea. I'll call it a dire situation, you know, like the saying. Reached a dire situation. It's a pun. I don't remember the exact thing he says, so I'm going to paraphrase him. It was like, I don't know. I think that was about what he said. Yeah. That's what I love about Alex, you know, he always tells you when he has doubts. He's never holds back. But hell, I went with it anyway. I like it. It's catchy. Got my own intro and outro thing because of it. Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer. That's what I do. Yeah. And you know, he was the one that suggested the whole before and after thing. That happened after Brave, I think, where I was just telling him, like, if you saw how I felt before Brave, you would know, like, you would see just how terrible that movie is, just how low it brought me. And he suggested, well, why not do 2 segments? Do a before and an after. And I thought, that's actually pretty good. Maybe I'll do that. Before of this review, I just thought it would be stupid, didn't I? Just thought it'd be some regular old stupid movie. And it turned out to be this. Well, beginning of Creed, I didn't expect it to be anything. Turned out to be great. Beginning of, I can figure there's several movies that I've seen, that I've done over the past year, that I did go in thinking it would suck or it'd be average, and it turned out pretty damn good. Some movies I thought would be great, turned out pretty damn bad. Or mediocre. I remember I didn't think much of Mad Max Fury Road into before. You get to see that. You yourself, you get to see my thoughts as they're occurring. Get to see. You don't just hear me recollect them, you see them. You see me before the film has impacted on me. Like, back when I'm still innocent, per se. So you can see my biases, if there are any. You can see just what mindset I might be going into this movie with, and form your own opinions. Maybe you'll think, he went in there wanting to hate that film, and that's why he hated it. And you know what? Maybe there is an argument there. Although, I would like to say, usually not. I do try to give an honest and reasoned answer. And if it were simply the mindset I went into the movie with that would define whether or not I liked it, then really, wouldn't all the befores be the exact same thing as the after every single time? They're not. Sometimes they are, usually they're not. Have a great day. Have a wonderful day. I mean it. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. There's a beautiful world out there. Full of possibilities. And until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dire Situation.